Imagine a country the size of Argentina, or Western Europe, or even India. Imagine India with only 16 million inhabitants, without the sacred cows, but with wild horses, eagles and camels. Imagine Kazakhstan, a vast country of extraordinary open spaces. We're in Central Asia at the heart of the steppes which connect to the slopes of the Himalayas, the borders of Europe, between the plains of Siberia and the shores of the Caspian Sea. Between sea and mountain, great lakes and desert, Kazakhstan extends over a staggering 2.5 million square kilometers. From time immemorial, nomad tribes have lived here in harmony with nature. The yurt is certainly the fruit of a remarkable spirit. A thick wool fabric, often decorated with rich ornamentation, covers a wooden frame that can resist the violent winds of the steppes. A family can put up or dismantle a yurt in 15 minutes. The opening on the roof creates a natural ventilation system as essential in summer as it is in winter.
Among the traditions that the Kazakhs have preserved, hunting with eagles occupies a singular place. A symbol of force, intelligence and agility, the eagle appears on many of Kazakhstan's national emblems. In the massive Tian Shan or Altai regions, this form of ancestral hunting is still practiced today. Facing the most severe environmental challenges, Kazakhs have always been able to adapt.
In the shadow of an imposing mountain backdrop that borders Almaty, another more modern tradition is flourishing. Fans of trekking can spend several days in the heart of this wild and preserved mountain area. Less than half an hour away from the old capital, Almaty, the Shimbulak station serves as a center for all sorts of outdoor activities. A candidate for future Winter Olympic Games, it boasts the largest skating rink in all of the former USSR countries. It's also the starting point for many a Sunday walk, as well as more daring climbs. Under the protection of the national parks, the startling colors of a multitude of high-altitude lakes can be admired by courageous hikers. As you leave the mountains of the east, along the border of Kyrgyzstan, then Uzbekistan, the countryside becomes more arid, more mysteriously atmospheric. Under the influence of regular winds and extreme temperatures, the air remains dry throughout the year, and the rare water points function as a magnet for many wild animals. The frequent herds of horses recall the time when Genghis Khan and Attila were their masters.
The majority of maps still call this the Aral Sea. It was here in the first decades of the last century that one of the greatest ecological tragedies of the planet started to unfold. In order to grow large cotton crops in a semi-desert zone, the Soviets ended up draining the world's fourth largest inland sea. And yet, things have changed very recently. Gushabai, the village teacher, is one of the first witnesses.
Finally, the ecological situation has been taken into account by the state and the international community. They decided to improve our living conditions. The World Bank made credit available to construct this dam. Little by little, our living conditions have improved. The water has reappeared and the fish have returned. The goal is to save the small Aral Sea, so we started the work here. Do you see that straight passage? We're constructing a dam 14 kilometers long. Here it will be 46 meters. Here it will be 42, and that will rise to 46. And there will be water in the town of Aralsk.
Encouraging results have reinforced the Kazakh government's convictions. A second phase of this gigantic project has been put in motion to control the flow of the Syr-Darya River, and thanks to a second dam to bring back water to the port of Aralsk. In spite of the rigours of the climate, in spite of the extent of the task, everyone here works hard. In a few years' time, the salty ground of Aralsk will be no more than a bad memory, and the horizon will once again be blue. Zholdas, a 72-year-old retired fisherman, is optimistic.
Now, thanks to our president, the situation of the people has improved. The dam has been built. The sea has returned. The second dam is under construction. Local people fish, and thanks to that, they're making a profit. I think we have a future, and the situation for the people is going to improve.
This battle for life has already yielded spectacular results. In 1 year alone, the water level has risen by 3 meters, salinity was divided by 3, and the volume of fish caught went from 1,500 to 15,000 tons. The sea is now no more than 12 kilometers from Aralsk. The return of water means a return to life, and fishing becomes both a pleasure and subsistence activity.
An ecological will to preserve resources is at the very heart of sturgeon farms. So that caviar does not disappear definitively from our plates, the Kazakh government has encouraged the development of mariculture. Beluga, Osetra or Sevruga now share these basins. The enjoyment of caviar no longer endangers the ecosystems of the Caspian Sea. Kazakhstan is the country of the steppes. More than a quarter of its surface consists of vast plains covered by low-lying shrubs and grasses. Half the country is regarded as semi-desert or desert, but with just 16 million inhabitants, space in Kazakhstan is not an issue. Just 2 hours from Almaty, the National Park of Altyn Emel cradles an imposing landscape and many archaeological treasures. The dune that seems to sing is one of the principal curiosities. Its origin remains mysterious, but here the sand and wind conspire to make surprising melodies. More to the east, close to the Chinese border, the canyon of Tscharyn, created by the raging winds and the river of the same name, is redolent of the fortresses of the Middle Ages. The accessible rock ravine of Tamgaly offers visitors a rich, rupestral art gallery where scenes of sacrifice lie alongside images of animals, mythical beings and monsters. It's a splendid testimony of the arts of Eurasia. It's here in the deserts and the Central Asian steppes that nearly 4,000 years ago Kazakhs first domesticated the horse and the camel. Dividing 2 continents and covering 3 time zones, Kazakhstan offers a staggering diversity of landscape and an exceptional cultural richness.